Bonjour and welcome to French Action. Today I'm trying to explain how to form the past tense in French, and this video is for Terence. He will recognize himself. Vous êtes prêts? C'est parti! When we're talking about activité, les activités, I'm referring to verbs which are action words. So in French, you're going to have some verbs which end with ER. For example, travailler, travailler, to work. Travailler, to work. And then you can have this one, which is étudier, to study. Étudier. And this one, to listen to music, écouter de la musique. Let's look at others. So the first one is regarder la télévision, to watch TV. The next one, do you know it? Manger, to eat. And we'll finish with cuisiner, which is to cook. Cuisiner. So now that we know a few verbs, we're going to change those verbs which are in the infinitive form to the past tense. And we're looking at those verbs: étudier, cuisiner, regarder, manger, and écouter. How do we form the past tense using ER verbs? Remember the ones I've just mentioned. It's very simple. You use the verb to have. So in this case, we're just going to focus on I, which is the first person singular, I. So we're going to say I have, which is j'ai, and not j'ai, but just j'ai. I have. And then we are going to use the past participle of the verb in question. But before I give you the word travailler, which is the past participle, what is a past participle? In English, if you say I have, for the past tense, you're going to say I have worked, ed, all right? That, the ed word, is the past participle. So if I use an irregular verb like to eat, you can't say I have and eated in English. You have to say I have eaten, okay? So eaten will be your past participle. Now in French, the past participle of ER verbs are, as I said, it's very simple. You just remove the R and put the acute accent on the E. And guess what? The pronunciation is the same, because whether you have an ER verb or an E with an acute accent, it's the same pronunciation. So that makes it very handy. So this is what we get. J'ai étudié, j'ai cuisiné, j'ai regardé la télévision, j'ai mangé, j'ai écouté de la musique. So in terms of translation, it could be, in English, it could be I have studied or I studied. Because in English, we have two forms, but in French, we only have one, which is this one. All right? Most of the French verbs end with ER. However, there's others like IR. In the first picture, we're seeing somebody sleeping. So to sleep will be dormir. Dormir. To finish will be finir. And for somebody who is succeeded in something, we're going to say réussir. Réussir. Now, to form the past tense of those verbs, the only thing you need to know is how to form the past participle of those verbs. Because you know it's going to be j'ai for the first person singular, which is I have, okay? So here it's even easier because the only thing you have to do is to remove the R. So from dormir, it will be dormi. All right? So let's do that to use the past tense. Is it what you got? J'ai dormi, j'ai fini, j'ai réussi. If you have, then that's brilliant. There's other verbs which end with RE. So like the first one, somebody's reading, so we're going for to read, lire, lire. Then for to drink, boire, boire. And to have to is devoir. Now, I am aware that devoir doesn't end with an E, but because the past participle is similar to those verbs, and this one is irregular, so I'm putting them on in the same group. See for yourself. Lire gives you lu. Boire gives you bu. Devoir gives you du with a circumflex accent to make the difference between the du, which means some. So this is what you should have written. J'ai lu for I read. J'ai bu for I drank. J'ai dû for I had to. Let's look at some other activities. Here we're talking about to drive, which is conduire, conduire. Then to write, which is écrire, écrire. And to say, which is dire, dire. For those particular verbs, conduire, écrire, and dire, you need to have the T at the end. Conduit, écrit, dit. So let's look at those three past participles, which are irregular. J'ai conduit, I drove. J'ai écrit, I wrote. J'ai dit, I said. Three more activities for you. You will see the irregularities. To do or to make is faire. To run is courir. And to open is ouvrir. So what are their past participles? Faire gives you fait. Courir gives you couru. And ouvrir gives you ouvert. As you can see, it's very irregular. A quick recap on the verbs we've just looked at. J'ai lu, j'ai bu, j'ai écrit, j'ai dû, j'ai fait, j'ai couru, j'ai ouvert. Here are common irregular past participles. So on the left, you're going to see the infinitive form of the verb, the meaning, the PP meaning the past participle, and the past tense using the I form. So I'm going to start in alphabetical order. Attendre, which means to wait for. Attendu, j'ai attendu. Then we're going to have comprendre, which is to understand or to comprehend. And that gives you compris, j'ai compris. Then we're going to have devoir, to have to. Dû, and be careful, there's some little accent there, which is called a circumflex accent, to make a difference with the dû, which means some. J'ai dû. And inclure, to include, inclus, j'ai inclus. Offrir, to offer, offert, j'ai offert. A bit like ouvrir, if you remember. Mettre, to put, mis, j'ai mis. Let's continue with prendre, which means to take. gives you pris, j'ai pris. And a verb like apprendre is going to be the same. Apprendre, to learn, appris, j'ai appris, because as you can see, there's the same root, prendre. Recevoir, to receive, but be careful, it's only a two-syllable word, reçu, with a cedilla and with the sound s. J'ai reçu. Then we have tenir, to hold, tenu, j'ai tenu. Vivre, to live. And here we are going to have vécu. So we're not going to say vécu because we don't have a cedilla. So vécu, j'ai vécu. And the last one, voir, to see. Vu, j'ai vu. And that will be I saw. So it looks like a lot of irregular verbs, but you know, it's just like in English. I had to learn quite a few of them too. So if you learn all these, you should be able to use the past tense without any problem. So far, we've done j'ai, but you may want to talk about more than j'ai. So let's what we call conjugate the present tense of to have. So the next person will be the you, singular, and also informal. And it gives you tu as. Remember, j'ai, tu as. Then we're going to move to the he or she, and that is going to be il or elle, and just a. J'ai, tu as, il or elle a. And then we're going to put all this in the plural, so the I with somebody else is going to be nous. Nous avons. Nous avons. Have you noticed that I link the S and the A into a Z sound? It's called a liaison. Nous avons. So j'ai, tu as, il or elle a, nous avons. Then we're going to have the you formal or the you plural, which is vous avez. Vous avez. And here again, liaison. Vous avez. And to finish off, we're going to have they, which is il or elle with an S. Oh. And here again, you're going to link the S with the O. Elles ont. So let's repeat together. J'ai, tu as, il ou elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ou elles ont. Let's practice. Now we're going to go through a little exercise. You will need to translate the following sentences into French. I drafted a proposal. I give you the vocabulary for to draft, which is rédiger. We met some tourists. To meet is rencontrer. They drank some wine. We continue with they lived in France for a year. You offered some flowers. Pierre, you have taken my umbrella. Voici les réponses. The first sentence was I drafted a proposal. The answer is j'ai rédigé une proposition. Second sentence, we met some tourists. Nous avons rencontré des touristes. And the last one, they drank some wine. Ils ont bu du vin. Did you get all this right? For they lived in France for a year, it's ils ont vécu en France pendant un an. For here in the past is going to be pendant. Then the next sentence, he offered some flowers. Il a offert des fleurs. And the last one, Pierre, you have taken my umbrella. Pierre, tu as pris mon parapluie. Here I put tu because I'm using Pierre. all right, which is a first name. So we have to assume that it's very informal. So, Pierre, tu as pris mon parapluie. Have you noticed that even though pris has an S, it's silent? So, did you get all the sentences right? I hope you did. Bravo if you did. Au revoir!